Most people in Singapore buy life insurance using one simple rule, and that rule might be leaving your family underprotected or costing you more than you need to pay. And that's exactly why it's worth taking a closer look before following any rule of thumb. In this video, I'll walk you through a practical step-by-step way to figure out how much life insurance you actually need based on your real responsibilities, expenses, and savings, not just a generic formula. Hi, I'm Phil from Dollar Bureau, a personal finance platform that talks about insurance, investments, and financial planning. So, how much life insurance do I need in Singapore? A commonly quoted guideline in Singapore is 9 to 10 times of your annual income based on the 2017 Life Insurance Association Singapore Protection Gap Study. This is why many insurance agents and financial advisors start with this number. It's simple and easy to remember. But here's the important part. This figure is only a guideline, not a rule. Depending on your age, life stage, income level, and financial responsibilities, the amount you need could be higher or lower than 10 times your income. So, instead of anchoring yourself to a number straight away, it helps to first understand what life insurance is actually meant to do. At its core, life insurance exists to provide financial protection for your loved ones if you pass away unexpectedly. It helps pay for funeral costs, outstanding debts, and everyday living expenses. More importantly, it replaces your income so your family can continue living their lives without being forced into difficult financial decisions immediately. Without enough life insurance, your loved ones may struggle to cope financially at a time when they're already dealing with emotional stress. So, when you think about life insurance, don't think about numbers first. Think about who depends on you, how long they need to depend on you, and what would they need if you were to suddenly no longer be around. With that in mind, let's break down the real life factors that shape that number. So, here are 7 factors to consider when calculating how much life insurance you need in Singapore. Start with rent. If you are renting, your family will still need a roof over their heads. A simple way to think about this is to take your monthly rent and multiply it by the number of years you want that cost covered. As you do this, ask yourself whether rent might increase over time, because in Singapore, it usually does. Next, look at your housing loan. If you have an outstanding mortgage loan instead and you pass away, can your family comfortably continue paying for it? If the answer is no, then the remaining amount is something your insurance should cover. If you are living in a HDB, check if you are covered by the Home Protection Scheme. If you are, your portion of the loan is already covered. If you're living in a private property instead, make sure you have insurance coverage that covers your loan amount. After working with hundreds of Singaporeans, this is something we realize. Many who live in private properties are not insuring their mortgage loan. And when they pass on, the loan has to be serviced by their spouse or children. Number 3, your future household expenses. So start by listing out what your household expenses are every month today: food, utilities, transport, insurance, childcare, daily living costs. From there, think long term, because inflation matters as well. While Singapore's historical inflation is about 2%, using a 3% gives you a safer buffer. For example, a $5,000 a month today could easily become around $6,500 in 10 years or $8,500 in 20 years. If you financially support your elderly parents, include them in your calculations too. Singlife's 2025 white paper found that 1 in 2 Singaporeans aged 65 and above suffer from severe disability, and the cost of severe disability is $3,000 per month, and this rises by 4% yearly. So if your parents are not financially prepared for this, you might need to consider this as well. But fortunately for you, before assuming you need a larger buffer, check what coverage they already have: their Cashier Life, their Eldershield Life upgrades, their hospitalization plans, or even their critical illness insurance. This significantly reduces how much additional support you need to plan for. If you have children, this is one of the biggest factors as well. Ask yourself how many years until they become financially independent. Think about education costs, especially university fees and even your day-to-day costs, and whether there are even special needs to plan for. For girls, it's usually up until they are 23, and for boys, it's usually up to 25 due to their national service. Then, there are also funeral costs. In Singapore, funerals typically cost between $7,000 and $10,000. It's not a pleasant topic, but planning for it now prevents your family from facing sudden expenses later. Another commonly overlooked item is a household helper. In many dual income families, if one parent passes away, the other still needs to work. Hiring a helper for childcare and household support may become a necessity, not a luxury. Finally, include other loans, your car loans, your personal loans, student loans, and even credit card balances. They don't automatically disappear. If your family would need to clear them, they should be included in your calculations. So, that's everything your family might need. Now, let's look at what you already have. How to calculate your life insurance coverage gap. So, once you've added up everything, all your current and future expenses, the next step is to actually deduct what you already have. So, first start with your CPF savings, your OA, your SA, your Medisave account, and any CPF investments that you have. When you are no longer around, this would be distributed to your loved ones. Side note, make sure you've done a CPF nomination so your beneficiaries can receive these funds without unnecessary delays. Next, deduct your other savings and investments such as your emergency funds, your cash savings, your SRS, and your investment portfolios. As you do this, think about liquidity. Some assets take time to access, so immediate cash still matters for them. Then take a look at your current insurance protection. This includes your life insurance policies and death benefits from endowment plans, annuities, or even your investment linked policies. Don't forget the dependents protection scheme if you are covered under it. You may also consider potential inheritance for your parents, but treat this carefully because inheritance is not guaranteed and shouldn't be your main safety net. Lastly, think about future income increments. Higher income can increase CPF savings and investments, but only if lifestyle inflation doesn't rise at the same pace. And after deducting all of this, what's left is your life insurance coverage gap. This number is far more meaningful than any generic income multiple. Now you know there's a gap. How do you bridge your life insurance coverage gap? So, if you do have a gap, the first option is to reduce expenses where possible. This could mean keeping household costs manageable or avoiding unnecessary debt. Another option is increasing savings and investments, although this can be challenging given Singapore's rising cost of living. For most people, the most practical solution is simply to increase their life insurance coverage. This is commonly done through term life insurance, which is the most cost effective way to get high death coverage. For example, a term plan can cost around $50 a month for $500,000 of coverage for a 30-year-old non smoking male. Another option is whole life insurance, which provides lifelong coverage and builds cash value over time. Whole life plans are more expensive, but they may suit those who want lifelong protection and some money returned later in life. Whichever approach you consider, make sure it fits into your broader financial plan and grows faster than inflation. Okay, let's wrap this up and bring everything together. So, how much life insurance do you need in Singapore? A common guideline, 9 to 10 times of your annual income, but the better approach is understanding your responsibilities, your expenses, and even existing resources. Calculate your protection gap and use it as a guide, not a guess. If you want to learn more about how much life insurance you need, you can speak with one of our financial advisors. You can also use our financial toolkit, which takes into consideration everything we've talked about today. I'll include the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more practical financial tips. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.